Hey podcasters, how's it all going? Can you feel the momentum building? I really hope so because I'm looking forward to you guys just smashing it out. And this is our next step. We're going to be looking at show structure. So we've got three basic types that you can look for with your show structure. We're looking at interview. So that can either be face-to-face, depending on where you are or who your niche and avatar are, or it can be over things like Skype, which is nice and easy to connect people all around the world. You can look at individual commentary, which when I say commentary, it's basically just you behind the microphone talking about experiences, talking about different things. If you're a comedian, making jokes. If it's something on health, then it may be you giving tips and tricks to different people. You can also have a co-host, so it can be a couple of you, or even more, that all get together, and you can do this over Skype, you can do this over things like Blab, or you can just do it in the comfort of your own home, which is what I love to do because I can just sit here in my undies, nobody else here, and just podcast away to people all over the world. No, just joking. I get in a prime state, and I'm smashing it out of the park when I'm getting ready for a podcast interview. You can obviously also have a combination of the lot. So one of my students, he has a interview on a Tuesday, he has a commentary on a Wednesday, and then he just has another kind of wrap-up commentary on a Sunday of everything that he's a lesson learned over the week, where he has a bit of light music, and he has some of his lessons, and it's just a quick little 5-minute one. So you can have everything different throughout the week, and for some, I've seen some co-hosted podcasts where they might do 3 a week, and they do one together and they do one each, and that gives them 3 podcasts. They get more exposure out and about, and there may be 1 interview each that they can do. So definitely play around with it, but just make sure you're thinking about the show consistency. Okay, so interviews, and we're going to cover all of this in other sessions, so don't start stressing about it. Don't go to Google, you don't need to. Important things to have in place if you are having an interview. Okay, scheduler. So we're going to take you through how to set up your scheduler. Your workflow, we're going to take you through how to develop that and integrate it into your scheduler. Equipment, requirements, your pen and paper or a Word document, because as you are giving interviews, you're going to think of something that you might want to ask or reference back to or put into your show notes or whatever it is. You just want to either jot it down with a pen and paper or quickly type it while you're talking, because you can get quite caught up in the excitement of the interview. With interviews, you obviously want guests, okay? So that really does help. Or you could just be having a co-host that you interview each week. But I would suggest, if you're doing the interview side of things and you're trying to leverage the growth of your podcast, then interviewing people really helps, and that's how to make your life really easy. The scheduler and the workflow will make getting guests and locking them in, and all the other templates that we've got for securing guests. Got about 30 minutes worth of stuff on how you can get guests through so many different types of media, and then you want an intro and outro, any bumpers or ads that you're going to have, and it pays to practice. Okay, so there's lots of people in the group. You may have an accountability partner that you can team up with, and you can say, hey, I would love to practice working through my questions on you for a dud interview, for a practice, for some feedback, so I can practice editing it, whatever you want to get out of it. But practicing before you get thrown out into the big leagues can really help, because we obviously want to put out a quality show that everyone's going to enjoy. And you're going to find that there's different words that you continually say that you'll get sick of. I kept saying the word awesome probably every 2 sentences when I first started out, and it drove me nuts when I was trying to edit it, because I wasn't editing ums out, I was editing awesomes out, which, as good as awesome sounds, you can kill any word. So having a bit of a practice and finding out when you get a little bit caught up in the moment, what are the words that you tend to find that you go back to. And what you can also do is, if you do have words that you tend to go back to, just a little tip is try and find some similes, some words that are very similar to that word, so that you might want to put them on a post-it and just pop them on the computer screen, so when you go to draw out that word, you can say something different. The benefits of interviews is they help build your credibility. Okay, so they really help you position, as we were talking about earlier in a previous session, about positioning yourself as an authority in your niche. From a nobody to an authority, you can do so quickly with a podcast. It is not even funny. Within 3 months, people will know who you are. You'll have credibility, and you'll be able to reach out to more and more people and just keep kind of climbing up the chain of people that you are interviewing. One of the big benefits, I guess, with growing your podcast and furthering yourself as an authority or an expert is people who you interview are going to share it, and we're going to help you push that further out, but they're going to share it with their followers, who in turn hear about your show. They potentially come and listen. They become fans. They become raving fans, and your show continues to grow. So if you've got a show a week, that's another person who's reaching out to. Could be hundreds, could be thousands, could be even more people. And I mean, I interviewed somebody who has 4 million followers on his Facebook like page, and 70-something thousand people on his private Facebook page who follow him. So getting out to him and him reaching out and sharing the podcast interview is only going to boost the viewings of my episodes. It also creates a lot of future joint venture opportunities. So from my podcast, I interviewed another guy who's a businessman, and then he wanted me to talk about podcasting to his audience at an online summit. From that online summit, I reached out to some other people who are also speaking on it. I made some awesome connections and am still doing some joint ventures with them. But you're going to see how you can leverage that in the profit section. So do not stress about this. Just try and get an overview of what type of show you want from the structure. It often allows introductions to other industry leaders. You interview somebody who's in your field, and then you say to them, hey, do you know anyone else who might be a good fit? And then it flows on from there, and you get these introductions. And you may also be able to affiliate their products, so you don't have to necessarily saturate your show with advertising. And you'll see that I've managed to do that in my shows. Is I say to people, how can they reach out? And the person might have a free product, and then that free product might factor into their funnel, and then that person might want to work with that person, and then I can get a portion of that. And that is a really, really nice way of offering your listeners something of value. They've obviously listened to this person on my show for the last 30 minutes. They've said, hey, I really like that. How can I find out more about this person? They find out more, and they say, yep, this person resonates with me. And then they can potentially sign up or use the person's product or their coaching or whatever it may be. So don't be afraid to ask people, have they got an affiliate system set up? Single person commentary, okay? It's a lot less time restrictive, so you can make a brief outline on what you want to talk about. It's when I say it's harder to grow your list, you can still hammer away. You can get in the right groups. There's still a lot of ways. It's just not leveraging off other people's lists to further grow. But that doesn't mean that you can't do it and you can't do it well. There's a lot of people out there, hardcore history. I think they have like a few million people who listen to their episode, and they don't have any advertising, and it's just completely them. They put out one episode a month, and it makes them 7 figures a year just from donations, because people love the show. They love that there's no ads. There's a lot of ways to skin the cat. And you can easily do multiple in one go if you're prepared. Okay, so you can sit there and you can get your recording software out, and you can go, I am going to do 8 episodes, and that's going to have me done for the next 2 months. And then you can either edit them yourself, or you can send them off to our team, or you can get your own team, or whatever you decide to go down. And that really gives you leverage to free up your time. You might do 8 half-hour episodes back to back, 4 hours worth of stuff after work one night, and that's you sorted for the next 8 weeks, the next 2 months, and you can just go back into planning every once in a while, or promoting, which is really important to have the time to be able to promote, do the things that you're best at. Co-hosts, okay, you do need to organise times. You can do a talk between you both, or interviews with others, and both of you interviewing. You want to have, a brief outline. You can for both single person commentaries, co-hosting, you can have a full-on script. So there are shows that are kind of a co-hosting commentary side of things by, say, like the Startup Podcast by Gimlet Media. They that their whole show is very heavily scripted, which is fine. It's a really high-end product, but then they have like a lot of people editing, and it's a very expensive process and time-consuming. So, if you think your avatar is going to like, just you having main points and speaking quite freely, then that's fine. I'd suggest doing that. Again, just like single-person commentary, if you're not doing interviews, it's a lot harder to grow. But again, you can easily do multiple in one go if you're both prepared, ready to go, and just going to smash it out of the park. Don't forget about consistency. We've created your avatar. We've got how often are they going to listen? What are they expecting? Like I said when we were creating our avatar, that my avatar wants to listen to something on a Monday and a Thursday. So I want to put it out on a Monday and Thursday. I want to put it out for how long? I want to put it out for 30 to 40 minutes. What type of show? It's an interview that helps break down the barriers for them. So I'm going to shape my questions in around that. So I've got to keep consistent with my release dates. I've got to keep consistent with my style, unless I'm going to integrate something else in there, and then you can make it something really exciting. Hey, guys, I'm coming up with the third show this every week from now on. It's just going to be me talking about my life lessons that I've had from the previous week or month or over my journey or whatever it is. And then I can add that in, and then they accept that that's the new consistency. But throwing a random episode in here and there, it can either overwhelm people if they get used to Monday and Thursday they listen to my podcast, Wednesday they listen to a different one, Tuesday they listen to music because they like unwinding, Friday they don't listen to anything because it's Friday, whatever it may be. And you want to be quite consistent with your calls to action and your advertising. Okay, don't have one episode that is heavily guarded with advertising, and then the next one have nothing because they go, it's going to diminish if they're not getting used to having advertising in every episode. And your calls to action, having them in specific places. So I might ask people what resources are books, and I say they can get a link to that book, that audio book at www.passiveincomeyoung.com. Or I say you can get all the after that. I might ask them where people can find out more about them, and I say, oh, that's great. I'm going to link that and everything else we spoke about in the show notes at www.passiveincomeyoung.com/EP32 or whatever number it is, and then people can go straight there if they want to know more and get driven to it. So just to wrap up, there's a bit in there to look at, and it may be a session that you want to go over again. Decide on your style. Tie it into your consistency on how often you're willing to commit to putting out your episodes. Double check to make sure it fits with your avatar. Get it done before moving on any further, because this is going to be really important. I'm going to put together a worksheet for you all that you can start tying everything in. And then I'm going to see you in the next session, which is so important. It's going to be so awesome. It's how to book awesome guests, like outstanding guests, like you're punching so far above your weight, it's not even funny, and batching them together. And this session alone, I think, will save you 80% of your podcasting time. So I look forward to seeing you all then.